need to think of what was going on in Somalia before Islam. What kind of what things that they were worshipping, you know? Of course, before Islam, Somalia is very neighbor to a kingdom that is Christian. Ethiopia. Ethiopian Christianity goes long time ago. Okay, long time ago. In fact, if you remember, when Portuguese were exploring this region, they were haphazardly. They were not aware where this. They were looking at something called the Kingdom of Prester John. What's Prester John? Where is that? Portuguese. They heard about a Christian king somewhere in Africa or in India. They don't know. In fact, the way that guy they were looking for, he was in Ethiopia, not far from Somalia, next door. And again, what's your name, by the way?
Chandra.
Chandra, those days, for instance, there was no geographic delimitation to say this is Somalia, this is Ethiopia, this is Eritrea, this is Djibouti, that didn't exist. The region was wide open. However, yeah, there's a spot, the one I showed you, and tell me, this one, Aksum. This guy who helped the migrants, he was Christian, okay? He was Christian, and he refused to give the mechanism these people back. So unless Somalis say maybe we were Abyssinians or there is no specific religion that they were worshipping. Traditionally or conventionally, they were practicing certain, like every other communities in the world, in their pre-religious traditions, even pre-Christian tradition, there's always something to worship. Okay, for instance, in Somalia today, there are something called zar, a dance. They are dancing for, could be a god, who is helping, particularly with women who have some maybe ailment is, and when they play that zar, and they call that zar god, which is called Waq. Somalis probably they heard about that name. Waq is God, because in Islam, God is Allah, right? But they were calling for Waq. There are places in Somalia today with Waq, Waqshan. Tell me. All kinds of waqs, al-waq. So that pre-Islamic God existed. It is oral tradition until today. It's not really well covered, but that was there. We have also some other some other dances like Mingis. Again, poor women. Always women were marginalized. So whenever they're in trouble, they end up into some spiritual things. They need spiritual healing. So this Ming is also a dance where they burn, incense and stuff like that. This lady who is impacted with this jinn or whatever, go into trance, and eventually she will be healed. There is something called Borane, also. In some trance, people go in trance. So I think you're looking at those issues, pre-Islamic Somalia, there was something that they were worshipping, but really it's not well explored and well researched. So that is what I can think of. Yeah, the other part, I think, as I said, answering why Somalis are in this mess, probably in my concluding remarks, I said that until Somalia's history really looked comprehensively, because we Somalis, we don't know our history, really, because our history is based on these nomadic, unsettled societies, all right? But if we revisit Somalia's history, Somalia's culture, Somalia's way of life, Somalia's languages, in history we believe there's something called revisionism, right? Always, what one time was right could be wrong today. What was wrong one time could be right today. So I think we need, that's why I'm saying reappraisal is due. We have to revisit Somalia's history and look it deeply into how really we can understand. Because as I said, our African nations, our Middle Eastern nations, they're so confused on us. Because they say we suffer from tribalism or from sectarianism, from all of this Sunni, whatever, but we still exist. Our neighbors, Kenya, how many tribes are there? Ethiopia. But when we said, no, we're not like you guys, we're better than you guys, but we failed. So that failure, I think, we have to look and revisit our history, and we can correct things. It's very hard sometimes, certain lies to be corrected is tough, because some people who lived throughout their whole history in that lie, to be corrected, it might be some difficult today. But I think that could be one way that we can answer that question. Yes?
Thank you, Dr. for sharing this knowledge with us. The question that I have is... thank you. The question that I have is, you mentioned that most of the text have not been converted to... or it's not even available. It's in other languages like Italian or Arabic. With the advent of AI, is it possible to get those books automatically? Maybe this is a question for Library of Congress. Automatically converted to English, or have you looked at those texts, maybe trying to translate it into English or something like that? Thank you.
Abdullah can help me with that because he is the one from the Library of Congress. And but I think, we shouldn't ignore any possibilities, any chances, anything that we can do, because Somalis claim. I mean, they don't read even today. I want to share with you. This is my late publication on Somali history, just published 2-3 months ago. Its title is it's on historiography, methodology of how to research, how to write, because anybody who takes a pen and have papers, writes something, that person cannot be a historian. History is a discipline. It needs certain patterns, certain rules governing how to do that, how to classify whatever you are experiencing, whether it is written sources or oral sources. I wrote, as Abdullahi mentioned earlier, I wrote most of my publications are in non-Somali languages. Okay, I wrote in Arabic, I wrote in English, few in Italian. Some Somalis are telling me, well, we don't read English, we don't. So now I have for them a challenge, really. This is in their language, okay? And anybody, maybe to translate this volume also into English, I have the PDF, so the AI can help to automatically translate into English. I think that would be very interesting, and I will go for it. So I know this young man. I know he is an engineer, and in fact, he has publications on how to teach with technology. So maybe you can help us, Mohammed, and use. I don't use AI for my courses right now because I'm very old-fashioned. I just stick to my gun, how it was before.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for coming.